Mr. Ashok, and thank you, Sheetal. And good evening, everyone. I hope you all are doing really good. And I welcome all the members present here to be a part of the session. Just to give a brief background about myself, Sheetal has already given, but then still I thought, okay, for a few seconds, I have worked with eminent leaders in the real estate industry like Godrej, Shobha Developers, Brigade Group in the field of architecture and interiors. And I'm very fortunate to be a part of many noteworthy development in the country like Infosys, Soroco projects, Brigade Gateway, Brigade Metropolis. And throughout my journey, I have learned that innovation in every aspect is the fundamental element to make any concept successful. And I have handled a variety of interior design and design build projects in India and the USA. And in all these projects, the main goal of the design philosophy is to promote the health of the building's occupants as well as reduce the building's negative effects on the environment. And I'm extremely delighted to be a part of this group and to present some ideas on the interior design of residences and office spaces. So I hope you all are able to see my screen. So briefly, I'm going to cover these topics. What exactly interior design is, what is the introduction of that, and what is the role of an interior designer, and what are the elements of interior design, how do we approach a design and what is the philosophy, how do we run an interior design project, what are the services offered in interior design, and I have a couple of very interesting case studies for apartments and villas, and some very creative kind of offices. And I have collated a couple of design elements, what we can use in our futuristic office spaces. So I'm going to cover all the sessions in about an hour. And I have divided like maybe 25 minutes for residential interiors, 25 minutes for office interiors. And in between, I'm going to interact with you all. And apart from this, I'm sure you all must be thinking what would be the new normal in design process post COVID-19. For this also I have gathered few points and I would be discussing about those points also with you all, and you are like always free to ask me any kind of questions and to give inputs also. So I'm here, it has to be a win-win situation for you as well as me. So interior design is the art and science of enhancing the interior of a building to achieve a healthier and more aesthetically pleasing environment for the people using the space. And an interior designer is someone who plans, researches, coordinates, and manages such enhancement projects. It's a multifaceted profession that includes conceptual development, space planning, site inspections, programming of the areas and requirement, lot of research in terms of the material and the space management, communicating with the stakeholders of a project. So the stakeholders could be client, it could be the projects people, it could be the MEP consultants, or the various kind of consultants involved for the project. You have to have the knowledge of construction management also and how you execute the design on site. So what are the elements of interior design? So there are 7 basic elements of any interior design project. So the first thing is space. First, you are given a space. There you have to plan whatever things are required by the client or whatever things you suggest. So this acts as a foundation on which entire interior design plan is built. Then comes the line. Any kind of space you see, first thing comes is the line. So it gives birth to different kind of forms, shapes, and it is actually responsible for establishing a sense of harmony. You can have a very nice kind of contrast and it unites all the elements. So from line we come to forms. You can create any kind of forms in your space. So that has to suit your design style. It has to suit the requirement. Light is one of the most obvious elements of interior design. Either you have natural or man-made. Without light element, you can't do anything. You can create lot of ambience kind of thing with the light. Then you have color, which establishes an aesthetic connection between objects and set the mood. It should be chosen based on the psychology of the client and whoever is using the space. Then we have texture. So texture actually it adds depth and interest into a living space and defines the appearance and consistency of a surface. Then we have a lot of patterns which we can use in our project. So we are actually spoiled for choice. So patterns, it tells a story of their own and add the elements of continuity. How do we approach an interior design project and what is the philosophy? First, you need to understand the client. Any great design, it's not about trends. It's about understanding the client and client's life, the property, where he lives. It's a design of your home. It's about you. This is the main factor which enables us to design interiors which feel just right. The design fits with you and your surroundings. It should be effortless and timeless. So bringing all this together, the client, the property, and its wider context, all these things are very crucial. The more we understand about the client's lifestyle, the more appropriate and unique we can make their home. We are interested in anything that could have an impact on the client's property, his lifestyle, his habits, his work, his leisure time, when and how they're going to use the property. The designs vary for individuals. For example, a single person, his design will be different. A couple, their design will be different, and different kind of families, the design will be different. And a client in his 20s, his requirement and his taste will be different from a client who is in 60s. So these are the different kind of clients. We should never assume or generalize. Everyone we work with is very, very different. And that's what, it makes very interesting for us. Then you understand the client's property. So what kind of property the client has. So it is the architecture of the building will influence the design inside. A contemporary new build property will feel quite different to a period property, and the design of the interior should consider all these things. It can still contrast with the property. For example, if you have a contemporary house, you can still have a heritage kind of interiors or a traditional kind of interiors, but still it should have some kind of reference with the property. So all these things, when we use, how we arrange, how we have the light condition. So for every property, the most of the location has to be considered and what it can offer when it is experienced from the inside. And there are different kind of projects for interiors. We can have a new build construction, we can have a refurbishment or renovation. For example, you are given 4 walls and you are told, okay, go and do the interior design for this thing, and these are my requirement. So you're starting from the scratch. And you are given an existing house or existing office space, and you are being told, okay, these are my requirement, you please try to fulfill in my existing condition. You can reuse, you can have something new. So you have different kind of interior projects. So how do we run an interior design project? It's actually very straightforward and simple. Believe in making the whole process as smooth as it is possible, and it should be very enjoyable during the process from start to finish. First, we take the project brief from the client. For example, if the client has a residential apartment or a villa, the client can tell, okay, like I want these kind of requirements. So I'm going to take you through some case studies where you will understand how we have transformed the client's requirement into the actual thing. So from this project brief from the client, you know what are the likes and dislikes of the clients, what is his dream, what is his ideal world, what the user is actually looking to achieve. And when we come to the design, first we make some sketches, we make some design presentation, we produce some visuals. We explore a lot of material or explore a lot of design ideas. We put them together. We see how it is possible to showcase it to the client so that the client approves different themes. And from where you source it, how much time it will take, what is the cost of that. Then we get into the working drawing. We see, okay, these are the walls, this is the window. In toilet, we see, okay, this is the plumbing shaft. Here we have the plumbing point from how I can make the changes or how I can do something which is already existing. Then we have project supervision. Then this is the main part, handing over the project to the client. So from the start till the end, you are there as an interface to the client. So what all services are offered in interior design projects? So we have to do layouts and space planning, design schemes and decoration, furnishing. Furnishing could be like soft furnishing, it could be like curtains, it could be sofas, it could be light fixtures. Then we have lighting design. So what kind of lighting, ambient lighting we should give, what kind of reading lights we should provide, so that there is different, during the different point of time during the day, the client can utilize that. And there is bespoke cabinetry and furniture design. We have there are a lot of wardrobes, there are a lot of TV units, and we have kitchen cabinets. That is for the residential thing. In office, there is nice table, workstations. We have storage units. We have then we have MEP. So how we are coordinating for all these things, and then we have window treatment. So alongside furnishings, window treatments are a key part of every room actually. So decorating the windows, controlling the light, and providing privacy and comfort are actually carefully considered by an interior designer. So it could be like sleekest electrically operated blinds to luxurious handmade curtains. So we should be able to incorporate all these schemes into our design. So then we have audio video. For example, in a residence, if a client has a home theater, how we are planning to improve on that. Then we have home automation, how we are including those kind of things during our electrical work stage, and what kind of acoustics we are providing. And how is the HVAC system we are planning? What kind of AC system we are planning? In residence, we have split AC, there is VRV. There are like now window AC is not a part of this thing. There is central AC. So in offices, and also we have to plan all these things. So now, like, I'm going to take you through some case studies. So I have divided actually in apartments and villas so that you have an idea. So home is it's actually not a simple place. It's a feeling. So here, this is a like 1700 square feet apartment. You enter like this. So I was given complete wall, only wall. So here I have tried to put the furniture. You enter here, and you should always see the directions also, like where is the east direction, where is the north direction, so that you know, okay, from where the sunlight, early morning when I get up, I should see the sunlight, or those kind of things you should have. So I enter here, I have given a nice entrance foyer. Here I have given like a couch to sit and a shoe rack. And when I come inside, there is a nice living space. So I have given a seating area. This is the TV unit, and this is the sliding window where we have the balcony. So sometimes what happens, lot of builders, they appoint interior designers at the stage of construction, so that the electrical wiring and all, if you have anything in your mind, you can incorporate right at the stage of construction. Then you have a nice dining space here. So I have put dining table. This is a kitchen where this is a refrigerator, hob, sink, and utility washing machine point, and there is a existing shaft. So it's an apartment, so all these things are common. If someone tells me, okay, you change for the sink from here to here, it is not possible. If it is possible also, like I have to give a ledge wall and I have to take the plumbing. So those kind of things you have to keep in mind. So for example, this is a toilet. So I enter, I have to manage the space in a proper way. This is a wash basin, commode, and this is a shower area. And here there is a small ventilator where I can have a nice blind. This is first bedroom, where this bed position is like this with a side table, and here the curtain is provided, and this is the wardrobe. Likewise, we have This is this is the kids' bedroom actually, where two kids they have to sleep here. So I have given two separate cots and a nice side table. One kid is very small, so because of that we have given only one side table so that the space is managed well. And this is the wardrobe space here. We get into the master bedroom. So here what I have done is I have given a king size cot. This is a queen size cot. And here like opposite, so you should see everything. You can't give TV here and bed here. So when I sit here, I have to view it properly, and there is a nice wardrobe and very nice balcony here. So I'm going to show some very nice visuals which we have developed for the client. So you see, you compare. When you see the plan, this is the living area. I come like this. This is my TV space. This is my curtain. This curtain I had suggested we could have hand operated. We could have, operated with remote. And this is the false ceiling thing. I have tried to use a little bit of wood so that it gives a very warm kind of feeling. And this wall is my feature wall where I have tried to use some artifacts. And this is a dining space. This is one of the bedrooms where I have tried to use a lot of, this is the fabric sandwich glass. This is sliding wardrobe. And these are the mirrors with wooden border. And this is the study table. And this is the colorful bedroom, their favorite colors were green and yellow. So we have tried to use that. And this is another very subtle kind of bedroom ambience. And see, you see that plan that was about 1700 square feet, and this plan is about 300, 600 square feet. So here I enter like this. This is the foyer. I come here. This is the living space. This is the dining space. There is a nice kitchen. This is semi-open. So if you want to serve something, so I have a nice counter from here, I can take it. And this is like, if you want to close it, you can close it. And this is a nice bar counter. This is a family space. This is the master bedroom. Master bedroom has an attached deck. There is a kids bedroom which has attached toilet. There is a guest bedroom which has attached toilet. So if you see all the layouts, there is a nice cot. Opposite to that, there is TV. There are wardrobes. So you see here also it's like that. And to make it a little bit interesting, we have given a nice hanging swing. And for kitchen also, like it is very neatly arranged. So I'll just show you this different kind of presentation. So these are the material which I have tried to use. This is a bar area. So first you need to have the concept. First you need to see what kind of dimensions and all we are getting so that we can utilize space. We should not clutter the space. We should have a lot of free space also. So this is the dining space where you can have a neat partition and it's a nice false ceiling. This is a living space with a TV unit, and this is the sofa arrangement. So you have to create a kind of collage with all the material. You should see, okay, this is matching or this is not matching. If it is not matching, what best I can do? So here the curtains are different. I have given like the pelmet has been used, and the curtains are right from the ceiling. The family space. So these are the elements which are used here. This is a bedroom. Master bedroom. So we can give different options to the clients. Maybe two options we can give, and then the client can select based on their favorite colors, based on their taste. So you can have a plain simple wardrobes, or you can have nice carvings on the wardrobes. This is the kids' bedroom. So this is the color combination. So curtains, you can have sheer, you can have main. I'm just taking it a little bit quickly so that I can show you other slides also. This is the guest bedroom. This is the color combination. Okay. So this is another
issue. It's very interesting. You can take your own time.
Okay. No, I have a lot of other things, very interesting things, so that I can. Yeah.
I saw the slide numbers. It is more than 100. I thought the students should enjoy this program. You can continue on your own speed. Don't rush up.
Perfect, okay. Perfect. Yeah. So this is actually a villa. This is G+2 structure. This area is about 6,000 square feet. So here, this is a contemporary villa. I'll just tell you how the design has been done. So here, like I was involved right from the construction stage. So I had lot of choice. So where I have to put the lights, where I have to put the like AC. So those kind of things I have planned here. So I enter like this. This is a nice foyer, and there is a glass here. I'm going to show you the elevation also. And this is the living area. This is double height. And you enter like this. This is the dining space. This is the kitchen, and this is a breakfast area. Breakfast. So from here, it's like there is no breakfast counter because I wanted to make the space look as much as possible. So I have just created it that way. So there is a cutout here on the wall. So from here, I can serve. And so I have this complete space. So here I have made a very nice crockery unit. This is the sink. So the main cleaning and washing, it happens outside, that is in the utility. Here only like the vegetables and those kind of things you can clean. And the cylinder also I kept it here, and I took the copper piping here and I kept the cylinder here. That is because I didn't want to lose a single inch of the space in kitchen. So I made it that way. And there is a servant room with attached toilet. Okay, so when we come inside, there is a small storage space, and this is a powder room for the guests to use this. So this is a wash basin and commode. And this is a guest bedroom area, which has got attached toilet. So here also, if you see, I have put here all the rooms I have put king size cot. And opposite to that, I have given a nice TV unit with wardrobe. So it is self-sufficient. And here I go up. I come up like this. So this is a complete cutout. This is a small family space here. This is actually like I have told them to use it as a kid's bedroom. Here I have complete walk-in wardrobe. And this is the toilet. This toilet, actually, you can see this cross. This has got glass, so you can see the sky. It is very interesting. And this area, like I have provided a bathtub and a shower partition. And complete wash basin, I have given like a ledge, marble ledge, so that it looks very elegant and sophisticated. And then I come to master bedroom. So this is actually like this area I have used for wardrobe space, and this is the bed. Here, this is the balcony. There's an attached balcony. And when I enter, this has got a huge toilet. So it has this thing you are seeing. This is a bathtub. And again, here also this complete, you have rooftop skylight kind of thing. So when you stand here and see on top, you can see a complete glass. And a very nice area I have given for wash basin. They wanted 2 wash basins, one for husband, the other one for wife. But then somehow I convinced because not to lose the space here, we can keep the towels and, like the tumblers and all that for toothbrush. So, and some decorative elements. And so I have convinced for 1 wash basin. And here, this is the shower partition area. Then we go to the next level. So next level, what is happening is there is another bedroom. Like it could be either for guests or for the second child. So here and this is again the attached toilet. So you see that this cutout is happening on top of the first floor. So and here this toilet becomes a little smaller, but then this is also quite big. And this is the home theater space, which has got a sit out and an attached toilet here. And here you have a small space, like you can have some lounge furniture. And outside there is a nice terrace garden area. So this is the view of the building. You enter like this. Now this is complete. This was under construction. So enter like this is the living space, and this is the guest bedroom space. This is the master bedroom space. And see, in this kind of contemporary house, I can't put interiors which is traditional or which has got heritage kind of design. I have to put something which is very modern and contemporary, which matches the exterior look also. So this is another house. This is about 15,000 square feet. So this is a duplex. So here, what is happening is, you enter like this. This is the lift lobby. This is the living space, dining space, the dry kitchen or bar counter area, whatever you call it as. And there is a nice deck. And there is some plunge pool also. Like you can't swim here, but then yeah, there is a water body here. And there is a dining space with attached deck. There is a guest bedroom with toilet. You come here, you have a like first master suite, and there is a small area for study. There is a deck and nice seating area. You can have you can chat with your sister, your brother, or whatever. Like you can have a little private seating, and this is the TV space. So this is dividing between the bed area and seating area. You have a nice walk-in wardrobe with a attached bathing suit. You have puja space, and there's an internal lift also. There's a nice kitchen which has got attached utility. So here you can have island cooking also. And there is a staff room or servant room with attached toilet. So this is the upper level. When I come to upper level, I have a nice family lounge. I enter from here, by the way. And so there is a bedroom, and there is home office, gym, and there is another master suite, like which could be used by anyone. And there is a pantry here also. Why I have to go down to get my stuff? So I can have a nice small fridge, and I can have a oven, and I can use it. So it is like that. This is a lift lobby. This one I'm taking quickly. So you can use any kind of material. So here I have tried to use marble on the wall with nice inlay. So these are all inlay. This is like that for the entry, you can have a nice peaceful Buddha. And this is the puja space. And on the like for the bedroom, you can have a nice seating, and you can see your see the TV, or you can tie your shoes here. Sitting here, you can have a cup of coffee, and you have nice window curtains and nice wall thing. And these fans and everything, all these things are customized, and all these things are automated. So these are the kind of thing. These are the toilets. So I'm just taking it quickly because I have many interesting slides. So you can ask me if you have any questions on this. This is a family space.
Somebody has raised one question. I will just read it.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, are these plans are designed using Vastu? This was the question from Arpita Singh Chauhan.
Yes, Arpita, I'm going to answer this question. I have a Q&A after residential thing. So I'm going to answer this question. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah. So you can use these kind of material. See here, like I had tried to give something rustic with nice black glass, and here ceiling also I have given very customized kind of glass with a nice fan come light, which matches with the complete decor. Okay, these are the toilets. Okay. Okay, so I hope you understood what kind of concept we have worked here. So all these things I had done in my previous company, and the client had a very like elaborate requirement, and he was very knowledgeable in terms of the technology. So from that project, I have learned so much. I mean, it is very interesting. It was a very interesting project. And okay, these are some of the photos where I have used. This is a veneer. You can have laminate also, wood with ply with laminate, and this is a false ceiling concept. And in see, this is an apartment, and this is a villa. So you can see the kind of space you get. You have to design based on that and based on the client's requirement. Here I have used a very nice, stone cladding, and I have tried to complement it with white light. You have different kind of light, yellow light, warm white, and this kind of veneer I have tried to complement with. And these are some other images. So these kind of things also you can customize, and you can actually like put. So these could be with the brass, bronze. It could be with normal PVC. With you can paint it in that metallic color also. And these kind of false ceiling, you can make it with POP, gypsum, and you can have nice cove light, ambient light, and you can use wood also, like I have used here. These are different kind of concepts. So this is a little towards contemporary style, and this is towards traditional thing. So you can have either wallpaper on the ceiling, or you can have Italian paint on the ceiling. These curtains, you can move it with your hand, or you can have automated. You can just switch on the remote, and it will move automatically. You can have these kind of things, and see the kind of chandeliers and all. You have everything customized now based on your requirement. And this is another space where this was like a island kind of kitchen, where the client talking to the guest that this is just a show kitchen, just to heat up something and all. The main cooking happens inside. That is the wet kitchen. So that's the reason some very fancy chimney, fancy kind of counter has been given here. Okay. Now you want to ask the questions now, or you want to ask like at the end of the presentation?
As of now, only one question is there. If any more questions there, we will see. Otherwise, we will take it up at end.
Okay, okay. So this Vastu, what happens, many clients, they prefer Vastu. So we have to design based on that. And many clients, they don't prefer Vastu. So that actually depends on the client's requirement. For example, like if you ask me, I would not prefer Vastu. Being an architect, I would prefer, okay, from where the light is coming, and from where the wind direction is happening, and morning I'm able to see the sun rising up, and in the evening I should be able to see the sun setting down. So these kind of things I should be able to see. But then most of the clients, they follow Vastu, and you have to know about Vastu also. Like for example, my house entry, it should be from north. My kitchen should be in the southeast. So these kind of things, puja unit, it should face east west. So these kind of things you have to know when you are interacting with any client, so that the conversation has to be mutual. It should not be from one side. So so that I hope that answers your question. I forgot the girl's name. Okay. Arpita. Okay, I hope this answers your question. Now, I have a question for all of you. Can anyone tell me what is 60-30-10 rule? You can put in the chat box, and you can message me. What is the 60-30-10 rule in interior design? Okay, any guesses?
Color rule, ma'am.
Yes. Perfect. This is the correct answer. So in any interior design space, this is the color rule. Actually, this is the color palette. So 60% of the room should have a dominant color. It is very good actually, and 30% should be the secondary color, or texture. It could be like any kind of thing. First 60% you can take the favorite color of the client or whatever, and 10% should be accent. The correct answer, Srirag. I'm very happy. Okay, now we go to the next slide. Okay, why balcony portion is attached only for the master bedroom, or can design it in other space also? Yeah, see what happens, balcony you can have in other areas also. For example, in the living space you can attach, and usually in any apartment, if you see, there are two balconies. Other than utility which is attached to the kitchen, there is one balcony which is attached to the living dining, and the other balcony is attached to the master bedroom. So why it is attached? Because you can keep two couches, you can have a cup of coffee, for that kind of thing it is kept, and you can have the cloth hanging area also there. So these kind of, that is the reason why people usually give the balconies in two areas in apartments. And if you have a villa or independent house, you can give a nice sit out area, which could be either attached to the living dining, or it could be like a space which is above the all the floors. It could be like a terrace kind of thing. Okay. Okay, now we come to office space. So here also, like I have two office spaces for you. One is a smaller one, that is 3000 square feet area. So the client brief was, okay, I want a nice reception. I want MD's cabin. There should be a conference room, which is 6-seater, and there should be about 20 to 25 workstations, and there should be some space for future expansion. And there should be a cabin for a manager and a pantry. And for any kind of office, you have to, of course, plan for a server room. So this was the reception area which I have created, and I usually incorporate biophilic designs in my concepts. So I have put the plants and all here, and here I have given gypsum plus wood fall ceiling. So this is like another concept for another office. Like here I have tried to combine heritage kind of pattern with little bit modern kind of elements. The flooring was marble here. And this is a conference room where I have tried to create some nice texture, and the ceiling is the highlight here with nice light. And you have it could be like in case they don't have a TV there or a projector screen there, you can have a nice map or something which is matching to the artwork, which is matching to the decor. And I have used wooden blinds here. And this is a seating space which I wanted to make it a little cozy, where the directors, they can have they can discuss here informally. So I have used wood and gray color, which are very warm, and to complement that, this kind of false ceiling I have used. Okay, so this is a office which is like about 65,000 square feet. So this is G+3. So here what is happening is, and here there you saw the number of workstations were 20. And here I have a number of workstations at 600 plus. So I have a entry here, and it's a very grand reception area where I have open capsule lift. So when someone is traveling up, they can see this double height reception area. And here these are the breakout spaces where this pantry kind of thing is created. And these are the different workstation area. And these are the meeting pods of different sizes, of different packs. And there are server rooms, and there is a training center, and there is a record room, there is electrical room. So these kind of things you can you have to think of when you finalize a requirement or program with the client. And there are attached toilets, of course. And this is the first floor. So as I said, there is a double height cutout, and these are the workstation area with nice breakout space, and you have a lobby. So here I had created some telephone booths also, so that when someone wants to talk, because everything is open office, so when someone wants to talk something which is confidential or something, they can enter. So I have many slides lined up which I'm going to show you. So this is a lift. So here lift inside also we had designed. So we have used lot of metal with a wood kind of finish, which looks like which gives a little classy look. And the false ceiling also inside that we have done. So these kind of things you have to do it right from the day one, because the weight and everything the lift vendor, they have to see. This is the entry where marble is used, and these are the nice kind of patterns, and this is veneer and marble with nice cove light. So to accentuate that, I have used nice bright colors of furniture. And here what has happened is different levels. We have given different names of, for example, Einstein, Socrates. So we have given different names. So we wanted to highlight that. So these are different 4 packs and 10 packs meeting rooms. These are the toilets. And this is the breakout space. You can have anything here. This one you can paint it. You can put wallpapers. Wallpapers are also available, which we can customize, and you can use yellow color, bright, nice orange colors, so that you know it for different areas you can have different themes. And there is a space where building automation system, and which can show you the performance of the building. So which is going to be like a touch screen kind of interface. Energy consumption is also submitted by the process. So it gives what kind of the building operation is happening. So that in terms of energy. And this is the manager's cabin. The dining space where we have used marble and wood with nice false ceiling. And this is a collab area where you can have a meeting with 2 people or 4 people. So it could be confidential, but then there are some telephone booths and all that also it could give a different thing. This is a training space. And these are some like the cafeterias on top. So where like these are the counters. So they usually tie up with McDonald's or Pizza Hut, or you know, some live counters here. This is the seating for the staff, and if some visitors come, they can go up to the terrace and they can have food there. And this is a breakout space. So I just wanted to show you, like, see the kind of color combinations have been used and the kind of false ceiling. So these kind of false ceilings, it gives very different and attractive look to the complete decor. See the wall finish also. And this is a breakout. It's a transition space actually. So it gives it has got biophilia. It has got a curated dining space where you can give the order and you can have it here. So this is again one more reference. So now even the office lobbies also, it should not be like a office lobby kind of thing. It should have some kind of experience, so that you know, people while waiting, they don't get bored. So they should have some kind of place to go and you know, have different kind of experience there. So this space also, you see, these are all CNC cutting, and these lights and all you can customize depending on your decor. And if you have this kind of ceiling, you can use this kind of light. If you have straight ceiling, you can have which is matching with the form and line which I told initially. So which could be straight cut, which could be, you know, you can use rhombus, you can use those kind of material. Nice wall cladding also you have here. These are some of the images where you can have these kind of patterns, or any pattern you design, vendors are there to give you the patterns immediately. So these are the customized kind of ceiling, you see. And here this is a complete dining space where you know, one private dining area was required, so that you know, some high-end people or some VIP people can have the dining privately. So this area was provided because of that, and all these things are open. And this is again one more dining space where you have this computerized green wall, and here you get the you can order and you can take it and you can sit here and you can have, so you can have different kind of ambience here. And so here again for the counter there are different kind of material. There is Korean, there is quartz, so those kind of material have been used here. And here you can complement it with nice rustic looking timber. Okay, so based on my experience, what I have done is like I have collated about 20 points, which could be like for a futuristic office space, or you can use it for a residence also. But then like there are 20 elements which I thought which are very important based on my experience. So I'm going to run you through those things. So first point, while designing, you should follow golden ratio in architecture. So what exactly is golden ratio in architecture? It is like the length and breadth, the ratio is 1.6. So if you have that kind of ratio, any kind of form, it will look very attractive and appealing. And any design you do, it has to be smart and sustainable. If you're able to have natural light come inside your premises, why to have artificial light? So you have to think in terms of those things also. And like any space, you can introduce a fashion statement. For example, if you have an office, you can have a small area where you can have a convenience store, or some retail shopping, or some destination dining with some nice kind of experience you can have. And when you enter office, it has to have a wow kind of factor. It should show the sense of arrival. So always you should have, when you enter, it should have at grade arrival, which could be like right from the entry to the lobby, or you can have a nice entry to the terrace. So these kind of things. This is a very important point when you enter office. And any office, which should be future forward. Whatever designs, whatever materials you're using, it should be ahead of time and it should be dynamic. For example, if a space, if I want to change, I should be able to change within no time based on the requirement. So it should be like that. And the floor plates also, when you plan, it should be planned for every vision. For example, if I have a call center there, I should be able to use it. And if I have something which is research oriented, or like biomedical kind of office, so I should be able to use that. So the space should be for every vision. And you should have a very aspirational environment, which should not be very monotonous kind of thing. See, these kind of images you see, you can have a cycling desk at your work desk. So I mean, no one is pressurizing you to work, so you are working on your own. And this kind of office desk, and a design which is very flexible with strong corporate value, you have to incorporate, which has to have a theme of your company. You can make very interactive staircases, some seating pockets for collaboration, and you can have a nice blackboard where you can put your colleague's birthday, or you can put some notice which is very important for other departments. And so these kind of things you can have, and you can have some flexible work zones for different kind of tasks. And whenever you design any space, you should always have influence of the place where it is located. For example, if you're having something in Bangalore, you have to have some concept which is related to that. If you're having something which is related to which is in Guwahati, it should have some influence of Assam culture. So it should have the local connect. You can use local material. And if you have something in Shimla, of course, that is going to be different, like completely different aspects. So you have to see the area also where you are designing. And you can have a nice high focus zone. Of course, the furniture and everything has to be ergonomic, so that you don't get back pain, you don't get frustrated while working. And biophilic concept to be integrated into the design. You can have a lot of green areas, lot of green walls. And there has to be a visual connection at different levels, which brings a lot of interest to the character and space, which has a lot of people flow. You can have a very nice open amphitheater where you can have the screening or presentation by other departments or some other vendors. When I enter office, office or any space, I don't have to search, okay, where is this department, where is that department? I should have some nice interactive display and signages without disturbing anyone or asking anyone. I should be able to click on that and I know where to go. We can use smart technologies. it should actually like it should not any design it should not reflect only the present thing. It should be always futuristic. So this kind of robotic butler you can imagine like you can give the order and it comes directly to you. And in any space you should have a space where you can click a photo and put it in the Instagram. So it could be like a very eye-catchy decor, which you call it as an Instagrammable moment. So you can make it through some artwork or something like that, and through art and culture you can encapsulate the themes that visits the design idea. So these kind of things you can definitely incorporate in your design. And in any office space, you should have a space for wellness. You can have a space for yogas or one small spa so that the people can go there and they can relax. So they don't think, okay, I'm coming from 9 to 5 job. I'm doing for my office. I mean, it is because my office has given me so much. So and any kind of form or anything, so it has to be like composed such a way that it is photographic. So I mean, whenever you design anything, the composition should be very nice and it has to be impactful. So these are the 20 points which I thought I'll share with you. So these are the images you can see where different kind of elements have been used. You see the flooring, 2 colors and 2 materials have been used, and this is the kind of area which I was talking to you about, the telephone booth or like the separate working zone. This is like another open space.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have asked some questions, ma'am. 8 to 9 questions
Yes.
are
Yeah.
there.
After this, actually, this is the last slide. After this, I'm going to answer all the questions. So let me just quickly cover this because I think it was supposed to be for 1 hour. I'll just need 2-3 minutes of yours.
Ma'am, related to COVID, one question was there, so you can start up with. I'll just read the question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, to present a pandemic of COVID, what would be your recommendation on the orientation of the sit out?
Orientation of the with respect to present pandemic of COVID, what would be your recommendations on the orientation of the sit out? Of the sit out in an apartment or something? Okay, I'm going to answer that. See, sometimes what we have is we don't have any control on whatever we already have as a plan. So, when we see, it should be like it should not be open to everyone. It should have some kind of barricade or some kind of separation from the other people, so that we don't get that kind of what do you call? I mean, it should not be. Like immediately if someone sneezes or something like that, we should be able to get rid of that. So it is like the space has to be segregated. It should not be open to everything. I hope this answers your question, Devashri. Okay, with
Yes,
respect to the
ma'am.
office
Thank you
spaces,
so much.
okay, no, Devashri, with respect to the office spaces, yeah, so that is a very good question actually. So when we have a seating area, what we have to do is we have to follow that rule of distance, whatever is decided by the government, that is the 6 feet rule. So we can have, it could be like if you have an open office, you don't have to sit, if a table size is like 4 feet by 2 feet, you can sit after 6 feet. Like for example, one table gap you can keep and you can have it like that. So that could be like one solution where we can have. And there are different pockets in the office also. Now like everyone is getting the laptop and they can sit in different corners. So you can have those kind of arrangements also. Is that all right?
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, so this is a quick slide. what are the 7 requests clients are going to make post COVID-19? So first is going to be reimagined layouts. So here what is happening is we have to have a lot of flexibility, which is the keys in the space planning. As in designating areas based on specific function, we can expect to see a shift back towards more traditional floor kind of plan. Where, like now we have open office, open office or open, for example, living, dining, and everything is open. So we can have the traditional kind of floor plan style where everything is sort of segregated. And we can have a lot of clearly defined spaces, which can be like which is very good for productivity, balance, health, and pleasure. And when we go to this work from home functionalities, so for home offices also we have to see like how we can work from home in a different space where kids don't disturb us during the meetings. So those kind of space also we have to plan. Then when we are working from home, we have to work out of home also. Maybe one small space to do some yoga or some gym equipment we can have. And we can have this outdoor living options where we can incorporate or include alfresco area or, some nice private outdoor space. And wellness and health also we can integrate. So where we can have a nice meditation space, and bathrooms also we can make it a little bit luxurious with whatever space or whatever fittings we have. We can try to make it look attractive, and those kind of things we can have. And the most important point is less becomes more. So we can unclutter whatever we have. So whatever we don't need, we can sort of forego. And we can, so this is actually KonMari method. You would have heard about this. So this is nothing but decluttering the dwelling. And whatever we need, we have that. So these are the kind of things. And so these are 4 innovations that will define real estate in the new normal. First is ecosystem-led technovation. So this is to improve the smart quotient of any space or any city by involving the stakeholders and leave a lasting positive impact on the environment. So we can have some command control center, Wi-Fi hotspots, surveillance systems. So these kind of things we can make it to make the area smarter and safer. Then we have service-led technovation. So where we use AI and artificial intelligence and virtual reality to create avenues for more accurate forecasting and incorporating various technological tools in retail, malls, and commercial sector. So it is actually used for better user experience. Then the third point is space-led technovation. So this is about developing and operating smart buildings through Internet of Things. So where we have 3D printing in construction, the lights and all, whatever we customize, we can use 3D printing to do that. And this not only improves your innovativeness, it also reduces the construction costs. Then we have product-led technovation. Here what happens is like we use, I think that there were many seminars and webinars by Mr. Ashok for using drones in construction technology. So these are the products which we can use. So many people, usually they use to see the site. So it is all across real estate, even the projects also you can see sitting in one particular place. So I mean, these have actually found a lot of utilization across the real estate cycle.
Okay, ma'am, I'll just take the questions, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Anita is asking which software is preferable for the interior design.
Okay, see for 2D drawings, you can use AutoCAD, and there is another software called Revit. So where when you use that, when you make the drawings, it automatically, like you can see the 3D view. You can use SketchUp for 3D views, and you can use 3ds Max. For rendering, you can use V-Ray. Once you are done with your Google SketchUp files, you can use V-Ray.
Okay, ma'am.
So these are the softwares you can use for 2 dimensions and 3-dimensional views.
Okay, ma'am. One more question. What are the commonly asked questions on the interview for the job on interior designing?
Okay, so like if you are a fresher, they will ask you to, they will give for, if I have to conduct an interview, I'll give a space and I will tell you to design. I'll see your, in that what I see your space planning skills, I see your software skills. So I know, okay, like these are the things you are capable of. And so in case you are coming for a supervision job, I'll just give you a project and I'll ask you what kind of project management would you be able to do it on the site. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, approximately how much it
I
costs for the
will
office
add,
project?
excuse, excuse me. For the earlier question, I would like to add a few points. Tapasya, this question I will address in the point of construction management, because we are supporting Home Lane, Live Space, and Bonito. Lot many interior companies. What are the expectations is main about the material knowledge, especially for the project management. The engineers should know how to read the drawings what architects and interior people are giving. They should understand the deep knowledge about the materials and
Yes,
the
yes, yes, I agree.
coordination skills with the various people, because your MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and all the agencies will be working. You should be knowing the sequence of work, who has to work. Because if you do fall ceiling, after then some other agency comes and they remove and redo, and the flooring you do, and some other agency come and they spoil. It becomes a mess at the project, because for the interiors they give very little time in the project, because once the shell is over, the interiors are done in a month basis, maybe 3 months or 4 months, depends upon the volume. It is not year basis. But structure
Yeah.
takes years to get construction, but interiors they are giving a very less time, and a lot of planning is involved. As
Mm.
Tapasya was explaining, lot of planning is required, and you should know good in planning and the material management and the latest things which are used in the interiors, because the number of items involved is very high in the interior BOQ. If you see, that
Yeah.
is the thing I want to add.
Yes, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to answer for this question, because nearly, Tapasya, I would like to say nearly 100 plus engineers I have provided for the leading interior companies in all over India in past 2 years through CMTA. They have been trained to do the project management works, not only the other works, quality control also. These days, after the work, the before the client take over, someone has to go and ensure the work is done as per the systems and as per the specifications and accepted norms. So QC engineers are also been given, and estimators. Lot of places the materials wastage you should avoid, because if for that you should know about the reading of drawings and the material knowledge. So material calculations also important, because these are very costly items. You can't order more or you order less from the vendors. How much ever you save, that will be saving for your company where you work for, and they appreciate the things you are doing a perfect estimate.
Yeah, true, true, very true.
And a lot of companies are looking for, because interior is an organized sector. It is past 6 7 years only it is growing up. Before that, commercial interior was there, residential not at all there. These players, Home Lane, Design Cafe, and the Live Space, Bonito, and all came up last 3 4 years only. And they are all from the IT background. They are not from either architecture or from the
Yes.
construction. They are from the technology background, but they are very good. They are utilizing the opportunity, and they are creating very good homes in a given time. If you see any of the website of those companies, they are assuring that the project will be delivered in 45 days. Assume that.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing,
Yes,
no?
yes,
They are
yes, yes.
assuring your project will be delivered in 45 days. The people are getting the design done within 3 4 days or 5 days maximum. After the delivery starts, everything softwares, latest software. A girl was asking about the software. IMOS is one of the software the people are asking for the furniture production. And
Yeah.
one more software also, Delta CAD is there, that is also used for the back end works. These are back end softwares which is used after the once the architect's given the drawing, it has to be fed it to the machine and for the production. Everything is done. These productions are done at the some particular place in the workshops, and it comes to the project at the when as and when required. So a lot of coordination skills are required because you can't send the if you take a Homeland company, they have a factory in Bangalore, but they are supplying all over India from Bangalore only. They can't reject the material after it reaching Mumbai. They can't send it out. It is very, and the owner will not accept the person. So a lot of coordination also is required. The project management, understanding the things, they do everything, all the checks here only. If a kitchen is being installed in one particular X place, in the workshop itself, they do the assembly and check everything is there, including all the stuff. So this is the project management they are looking for, site management. They are looking for, most of the companies are looking for these skills, and procurement. Procurement also important place. How you procure the materials, and how much product knowledge you are having, and what is the price knowledge you are having for each. Because ultimately everyone want to be in the business, and they need a good profit and more number of customers also. So product knowledge also is required. What are the latest things available, and how you procure the things in a very competitive price. This is the need for the companies. A lot of candidates I have coached on these particular aspects only. They are placed in very good companies. They are drawing very good salaries, and they are satisfied with their jobs. Thank
Yeah.
you for allowing me to speak for this
Yeah,
question.
sure. Yeah. So it gave a lot of insights, and many companies they have their own customized softwares also.
Yes, yes.
They customize their softwares and they get the 3Ds or the layouts done. So this is about the software thing. And someone has asked about the material damage. Okay. Okay, if the material is damaged, it's not the client's responsibility. Usually, it is the vendor's responsibility. So, when we procure the material or when we supply the material to the site, it has to be we have to protect the material in a proper way so that it doesn't get damaged. Of course, it's a costly affair. And cost for any office project, it could vary from, like if you take per square feet, it could vary from 1,000 rupees per square feet, can go up to 10,000 rupees per square feet. That depends upon the kind of material you are using. If you are using a vitrified tile, if you are using a marble, if you are using a laminate, if you are using some Korean or some CNC cut material, it varies. So that I think answers your question, Chaya. And I think Hemant's question I have answered. Okay, is there any question which I have missed?
Yeah, ma'am. How can we suggest a traditional design or modern design suit for the project?
Okay, so first you have to see the building. So as I showed you one villa, it was a contemporary villa. So if I have completely traditional style for the interiors, it doesn't suit. So if the client is interested to go for traditional style, we can have a combination of traditional plus contemporary. So it should little bit at least have some kind of resemblance to the exterior. So you should plan it in that way.
Ma'am, Arpita Singh is asking, how do we accomplish these requirements in a small scale office with limited number of people?
Small scale office, like you're talking about, you have got a small office project. In that, you have to take the requirement of the client. You have to plan the space in such a way that it doesn't look cluttered. At the same time, you are able to use the client's requirement also. You are able to accommodate the client's requirement with to your design, and the kind of material you give, that is also very important for this kind of project because it should look very attractive.
Madam, according to Vastu, what should be the location of staircase?
See, according to Vastu staircase, like see, when you enter a building, it should be either north facing or east facing. So the staircase also, when you are going up, it should have that kind of thing. So you should have east-west kind of direction for any kind of staircase.
Last one question. How can we maintain social distancing while having a good social interaction in offices? As nowadays, social interaction is a major requirement of users.
Yeah, social interaction you can't avoid in our kind of field. You need to interact with the client. You can have a video call or something like that, or with your. But when you go to a site, you have to have that social distancing kind of. You have to maintain that distance, and yeah, I mean those kind of things. You have to have lot of safety measures, whatever the government has announced. You have see when I recently I went to a site at the entrance only they have kept the hand sanitizer which you don't have to use your hand, you have to use your feet and you can take it. So those kind of things you can have. And when you are using a toilet or something like that, the tap it could be with sensor, and so that you don't have to open the tap with your hand, and immediately you can use the sanitizer, and these kind of things you can follow.
That's all the questions, ma'am.
I hope this is fine.
Yeah,
I don't know whose question it was.
it's done, and very good presentation. And you have brought the world of interiors, means huge projects you have shown to our students. And I was also listening for the residential and the commercial, both the things. Very nicely explained each and every aspect of the interiors you have given to them. And it's a wonderful session, I say. And any common man also can understand how the interiors are done in the projects. And nearly 65 plus students were attended from various parts of the country, and they are into construction field. And I hope this was insightful for them. And from the students, they wanted to thank you with a closing note. Gunalan, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gunalan is from SSN College, Chennai. He has attended your session from the start, so he wanted to thank you.
So, good evening, all of you. I take immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for today's webinar. So, first of all, I would like to thank Tapasya ma'am for being here and sharing your great knowledge on interior design. I hope everyone, even during this pandemic situation, has got a wide knowledge and to develop their skills regarding the interior designs. Next, I would like to thank Ashok sir for providing this session and organizing this well for various students across India and across other countries and sharing wide knowledge on us. Next, I would like to thank the participants for being patient and listening, being a good learner. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Gunalan, for your wonderful.
Thank you, Gunalan, and thank you, Mr. Ashok. Thank you, Sheetal, and I thank all the participants actually.